Hey, Alexa, turn on mood lighting. What's up, guys? What's up, guys? There you are. Yes. Okay. I think I got the background audio. Should be working. Let me know how you guys are hearing some background music playing on my end. As in, I can hear it. So long as you guys can hear it. If it sounds right to you guys, then it should be alright. This is something new that... Oh, okay, the music is too loud. You're saying, okay. How's that? So the music is down. So now it's probably way down. I can not hear it at all, which is fine. I don't need to hear it, but so long as it's there for you guys, you can let me know. They're just saying it's pretty loud, but I'll turn it down. How's it now? Better? Inaudible or just right? You guys can let me know. I might get a call. I might get a call sometime during the stream from my insurance agent. So hopefully either we'll finish before she calls or I don't know. We'll definitely need to talk to her today. But main noise with the plastic for reference. Better now. Still kind of hard to hear you. Okay. I mean, I can turn down a little bit more. That's fine. What are you guys' thoughts? I'll turn it down a bit more. Yeah, because I can barely hear it on my end, but that's fine. It's just there for background for you guys. So as long as you guys can hear it. I'll make some noise with the plastic, but it's not really going to be all that noisy. And on that note, obviously, you guys know what we're working on here today. It is MGEX. And make a little adjustment here with this guy as well. There we go. Yeah, so in the last live stream, I was basically just cutting out all the parts. And not even that. We basically only got through gold parts. So there was a bunch more parts to cut out still. And now all the parts are all ready to put together. And that's all we're going to do here in this stream. It should probably take a couple hours. There's still a lot of parts to put together. But I can tell you guys, it's pretty impressive. A couple of things that I will point out to you guys straight away. Before we get started here, this kit has an insane level of detail inside the armor pieces. So let me zoom in here, try to show this to you guys if I can. So can you see that? This is the foot. This is like the back of the foot. And inside, I'm just showing you this blue piece because it'd be easier to see than the white, but obviously most of the armor is white. But a lot of master grades have that where there's a little bit of detail on the inside of the armor, but this one has a lot. So let's see if I can shadow that enough. So can you guys see that? All that line detail and stuff, all on the inside of this armor piece here, which is pretty wild. Yeah, it's more than I've ever seen before, as far as I can remember. Like I said, I've seen ones that have a lot, but nothing quite like that. It's pretty wild. Again, kind of like the entirety of the frame, most of it's going to be covered up, and especially this detail on the inside of the armor, it's all going to be covered up, so it really doesn't matter at all. But if you were to choose to display it with some of the armor off, you could display it in a way so that maybe you can kind of try to show off some of that detail that is there on the underside of the parts. There's a lot of really cool detail there. Wawan asked, most of the runner undergated, right? Yeah, most everything's undergated. Even the non-gold parts. Yeah, there was a lot of undergating on this kit, which is good. Yeah, if you want to build it out of the box, just straight out of the box, just build it up and just have it like that. It's definitely better that it has that undergating, especially for the gold-plated parts, of course. That said, personally, I don't like undergating at all. It makes it's more time-consuming to prepare the parts like this, but it's a small sacrifice, I guess, just to have those gold parts not having nub marks on them, which obviously you're not going to want for a big expensive kit like this with a lot of plated gold. And I was just saying a moment ago that a lot of that gold's going to be covered up, but obviously not entirely. It definitely in the kit in a way so that you have lots of gold sticking out everywhere. So there's lots of little bits of gold poking out through the armor, kind of all over the place. So you do still have a lot of gold, but it's just little bits, and you will have a lot of gold that will just be covered up by the frame, of course. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Now I am going to follow the instructions, which have you building up the frame first. So we will get a look at how the frame looks, and then building the backpack, and then the armor assembly, and then the weapons. So I will build it up in that order. But like I have all the torso parts all here together. So some of them are the armor pieces. So some of them we'll have to like put back in the box, and then we'll come back and get to them later. Hello from the Philippines. Kerwin said hello to the Philippines. All right, so let's get down to business. Well, how are you guys doing today? It's Tuesday. I don't know. I woke up today wondering like, oh, is today Friday? No, it's Thursday, right? And then realizing, wait, it's Tuesday. So, yeah, the quality is bad. Is the stream quality not good? Sorry, guys, there's really not much that I can do about that. Yeah. Try to have it as good as we can, but it's not too much I can do. Let's see. Have you ever built the MGEX? I'm building it now, and I've been on a throwback kick lately. Yeah, no, I've never built the MGEX. I'm not really a big fan of the GAN, I gotta say. Although the HGUC Revive kit was very nice. I really like that a lot. I think if you guys remember, I think I gave that like kit of the year, or at least high grade kit of the year that came out. Great, fantastic kit. The MGEX 2.0, I imagine, is also a pretty nice kit, although, yeah, I've just never built it. Barely got any sleep from my side, Mercenary said. I did not get a whole lot of sleep either. I was actually up quite late preparing for this live stream. The quality is terrible, Kiro said. Do they have Theos down there in Florida? Gotta make the switch to gigabit. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. Man, sorry guys, I don't know what to tell you. Hopefully the stream quality will improve. But yeah, there's really just nothing that I can really do about it. So, is it like the audio and video both, or I don't know. Yeah, like I said, let's just start building, shall we? So we're going to be able to see what the frame is going to look like in its entirety before we cover it all up with its armor, which will be nice. And I really like this particular gold. This would be, I'll zoom in a little bit since we're on the head, which is quite small. Zoom in a little here for you guys. Yeah, 480. I don't know. You could also try refreshing. That may do it for you guys. But this is like the orange. You have a few different colors of gold. This is like that kind of more vibrant, kind of orangey gold. And yeah, there you go. This one just looks so nice. This is the head frame part of it once we get the face part put in there. Sorry, guys. Messing with the camera there. Audio is fine, but the quality is inconsistent. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll just do our best. And you have two different options for the eyes. You can either use clear yellow or gold. I'm going to just use the gold option just because I think that's going to match with the frame. It's going to look a little nicer. The clear yellow realistically would look better because the eyes are not gold to match the frame, but the eyes should be, you know, like lenses, which would be yellow. Probably ultimately once I get the kit painted, I'll end up using the clear yellow part. But for the time being, anyway, the let's see, the yellow part or the gold part will look better for the moment. Later, I'll probably use the part. I don't necessarily think that it's going to necessarily like strange, as in I don't think that the gold is going to look like frame for the eyes. It just looks like eyes anyway. It's just a small little tiny detail. Looks and sounds fine from my end. It took a second to come into focus. Well, I don't know. So there you go. Hopefully it'll kind of level out once we've been streaming. Oops, I think I was not meant to put that part on yet. Nope. Once the stream has been going for a few minutes, hopefully the quality will kind of settle down and it'll be doing its thing. But I think we have a couple stickers here for the head. I'm not gonna put those on. Those are the metallic 3D stickers. Yes, I'm not gonna put on any of the metallic 3D stickers for the moment. But that is our head. So the armor pieces and stuff, we'll put those back in the box for the moment, and we'll come back to that once we get to that step. So that's it for the frame on the head. So we'll just set that aside there for a second. And the body is up next. And again, the armor pieces I know we'll save for later. Which there aren't too, well, maybe. It's a good amount. You've seen the updated aerial. Yes, I have seen the aerial rebuild. I am not a fan of the design of the aerial rebuild, but then again, when the aerial was first shown off, I just wasn't really much of a fan of the design, and it's grown on me. So the rebuild may grow on me as well, although I'm just not sure. I just don't really like the sudden sharp turn they're making towards like kind of more standard UC style design of like is the new parts of the aerial being kind of quite angular. It really reminds me of like the new Gundam or something, or the Mark II. It's like I was fine with Reconquista NG, or sorry, yeah, see, now I'm even thinking about Reconquista NG, but I was fine with G-Witch being kind of more different, have it being a bit kind of more curvy in its designs. Sorry, I see we got some spam there in the chat. I'll get rid of that. Being a bit more curvy and different shapes. Now that it's just going to like a kind of standard UC blocky angular design, I just don't really think it meshes well with the rest of the design, and so it looks a bit inconsistent. It's kind of weird, and I get that it's just like the mid-season upgrade, and then like the full, like the whatever's going to be next, whether it's going to be like another upgrade to the aerial or a completely different mobile suit, whatever the case may be. Later, I'll probably like that more, I'd imagine. But I don't know. At the moment, yeah, I'm not feeling it for me personally. But we'll see. Like I said, it definitely may grow on me. GPO1 full burner vibe. I've seen people mention that. I mean, I guess sort of, but I don't really see it. I mean, the color scheme's similar, and like the fact that it has like the big booster things or whatever it has on its backpack is like kind of similar. But otherwise, I mean, there's about like a dozen different Gundam designs that also kind of share similar design aspects. So I guess you could say that, but I don't know. That definitely wasn't the first thing that came to mind for me anyway. I'm not sure what I would really say that it looked similar to. I guess probably honestly the first thing that came to mind was probably the ground type version of the new Gundam. There's like a ground, or it's like a mass production type, I think is actually what it is. It's either ground type or mass production type, something like that. Version of the is actually what came to mind, because of, I think just like the shape of the shoulders and the backpack, so just with it being kind of the angular design. That's what came to mind for me. Finally caught one of your streams, Serial Experiments. Zay said, welcome. Alright, so in the torso, there's also all the frame is not all gold. So, alright. Let's see. Like the core of the frame is like kind of your standard metallic gray here. And then it's just got a bunch of gold around it. Very interesting construction here for the torso inner frame, though, I will say it's definitely different from anything that I can remember. I've never built a torso inner frame quite in this way. It's very unique. But I can tell that it's really cool. Let me see if I can show this to you guys. I'm going to have to keep zooming in here. So you can see when it bends side to side, these parts, which would be kind of like the side armor of the torso, the cockpit's going to be kind of around, actually it's higher up, it's right there. Actually, that's the cockpit seat. And this is like that beam cannon there in the torso. So this is the front of the torso. And when it bends side to side, these side armor panels will swing side to side like that as well. That's pretty cool. That's definitely unique. Yep. It's beaming with it. Yes, indeed. It's going to be catching all the reflections. Let's see. I know I'm kind of stuffy this morning. Apologies, guys. I hate to be on a live stream like sniffling the whole time. It's very cold up here in our office today, so I guess that can be why. But I apologize. That's a different way of doing art. Yeah. And like I said, from the start, I talked this a bit in the other day, but I'll just kind of rehash and say that, oops, there's a nub that I missed. I knew I would come across that. That at the end of the day, I know, I'm certain that this is going to be a fantastic kit, but I guess I just said it the other way around. I think that a bit, it's an MGEX and not it's an MG 2.0 Strike Freedom. It really could have just been an MG 2.0 Freedom, and then they could have done something different, a bit more kind of, I don't want to say a bit more exciting, because it's not like this is not an exciting kit, but something a bit more fitting to the MGEX line. Although we don't really have anything else to go by other than the unicorn, but like compared to the unicorn that had a very obvious gimmick, whereas if they were to make an MG 2.0 unicorn, it doesn't necessarily mean that they were going to make it with an LED gimmick. That was something that was very premium and extra about it, that kind of fit the extreme title. With this, if they would have just made a master grade 2.0 Strike Freedom, this is what like the end product would have been the same. So in that sense, I feel like this could have just been an MG 2.0 and the kit would have been exactly the same. But again, it's not to say that this kit is not good or this kit would have been better one way or the other. I think that it just is what it is. I think the kit would have been basically the same kit one way or the other. But what was this thing about that? Anyway, it is super duper detailed, but like the Freedom 2.0 was also super detailed. So that's what I mean, is that doesn't seem to be the case that that is something that's special to this being a MGEX. It would have been very nicely detailed either way. But the construction is certainly unique so far, yeah. Careful with the ball joint on the waist. It's not a ball joint, it's just this peg right here. Or is there another one below? Imagine it's this peg that people are talking can be broken between the upper body and the lower body. I will be careful with it. People have already been warning me about that. How hard is it to find the Gym Sniper from 8th MS Team? Well, it depends on which version you're talking about, but I imagine it's not that difficult to find. Let's see. The MG Gym Sniper. Is that what he said? Oh, and he didn't even say the MG. But if it's the MG Gym Sniper, that one gets reissued fairly regularly, I believe. It shouldn't be that difficult to find. And like there's the HGUC kit, which was a P Bandai kit, right? The Gym Sniper was a P Bandai variant of the Gym Ground type HG kit. So that one might be a bit harder to find, I guess, if you're looking for the HGUC version, but there is the older HG version, which, you know, definitely not going to be as good in comparison, but you know, probably easier to find, cheaper, no doubt. And this fits into here like how? Oh, just like that. Okay, there it is. And let's see. So this one goes here. Ah, very interesting. Yeah, the articulation's very nice. How these parts move around. I'll show you again here in just a second. Oh, that's it? Oh, that just slides forward. Okay. Here. Take a closer look. So I showed you the articulation here side to side of those parts. And here's the cockpit hatch. That slides open, pilot's in there. But also when you're doing like your ab crunch, these parts in the front, where the cockpit is, kind of slides down a bit. You can see. When basically you're kind of like lifting the back. This is where the backpack will plug in. Like lifting up the back of the torso. The front part where the front of the cockpit kind of collapses down there a bit like that. Pretty cool, because it can't really do your standard ab crunch, which would be here, just because that's where that beam cannon is in the front. So I had to make it a little bit different, and this part here is just kind of sitting loosely on there for now, but I guess that'll be attached into something else later on. Yep, there we go. All right, so in your OP Gullin Vox said over there on Twitch, you have some people watching on Twitch, seems like. So in your OP, how do you like, oh, so in your opinion, okay, I got it. Didn't know what OP meant for a second there. How do you like the gold? Would you rather have painted it? Well, I mean, if you just want to just build it up straight out of the box and just have the gold, I think so far the gold looks really, really nice. If you aren't planning on painting it, it's going to be a really, really good looking kit. But I am still considering painting it, and in which case, you know, if and when I do paint this, I will be stripping the gold and repainting it into a different color, just because I just want to make it unique. If I did want to repaint it but keep the frame gold, would I strip it and repaint the gold, or would I just keep the gold? I'm not sure. Some of the plated gold, some of it maybe I might just keep, or I might repaint the whole thing. I'm not sure at this point. I couldn't really say. And also, I'm just not really considering doing that. But let's see. I'm checking the mail. All right. Thanks from Malaysia. Personally, I prefer the Sniper one as opposed to the Sniper 2. Yeah, I honestly kind of like the design of the Gym Sniper one more than the Sniper 2 myself. The Gym Sniper 2 is a really cool design, but the Gym Sniper one also is quite cool. All right. Okay. 2. That's going to be the same. So that's just going to plug into there. And that should click. And that's not supposed to click, but it didn't. This side. All right. We got that. And this part. This gold. So we got some more non-gold parts on this part of the torso frame, but then you put a gold part on the top of that. So it's just going to be a little bit of non-gold is showing through there. Sorry, you guys can see that. Okay. Really a lot of gold right there. Yes, it certainly is. And I did that backwards. Hang on. Uh-oh. I have our first broken part here. Ooh, careful. I can say, as I've been working on this kit like the last couple days, and since I've been thinking about it, I am thinking more and more about maybe I want to paint it just because it would just be fun to just paint it because it's a hot new kit, and I just like to be able to do my take on it because I would do something different and thinking about exactly how I might do that. But let's see. Hang on. But I can say, if I do decide to paint it, I'm not looking forward to just how long it's gonna take because there's a lot of parts. There's just a lot of parts with this kit, so it's gonna take a while to paint. It's not like a easy weekend project you can just knock out. I mean, maybe you could if you don't have too much other stuff going on, but it's not something that I would be able to do as a weekend project, that's for sure. But with that, so there's a few more parts that go on this, no other armor parts. So there's a few photo etch parts and the 3D metallic stickers that go onto the frame at this point, but I'm not going to be putting either of those on for the time being, just because, like I said, I am considering painting the kit, and those metallic stickers and the photo etch parts are not exactly things that you can reapply once they're applied. But here's how that's looking, that frame. So even though everything's undergated, basically you can't really see too much. I can see there's a couple of nub marks that are going to be unavoidable, like right there. You can see on the side of this gold piece on the front, that's going to be covered up undoubtedly by armor, so it doesn't really matter. But if you're planning on displaying this with the armor off, there are going to be, at least so far, I can tell you at least a couple of little nub marks. But I mean, with so much flashy gold and everything like shining in your face, I really doubt that anyone's really going to notice that. It's the same thing with like the PG Phoenix. Now the MG and the HG Phoenix kit, the Unicorn Phoenix, both of those have very apparent and really nasty nub marks. If you had like building like the plated version, the PG on the other hand, it's really not so bad, and that's why the PG was the one that I opted to buy, even though it's the most expensive one. But at first, like when it was first announced, I remember thinking like, oh no way, it's gonna be a mess. But what really convinced me on the PG Phoenix was seeing it in person. I know I've told this story before, so some of you guys may have heard this, but like, I saw the kit in person at the Gunpla Expo in Tokyo, whenever that was, like when it was first coming out. So that would have been, I don't know, 2016, 2017, I guess, 2016 maybe. And yeah, seeing it in person, it's like, wow, that's a good looking kit. And yeah, if you get really up close, you can find nub marks on it, but especially with all the plated gold and with the LEDs on, it's all shiny and everything, you're really not going to notice any little nub marks. So it's a really fancy looking kit. Now that said, after having built it, I probably would, if I was ever to go back and work on it some more, because right now it's just chilling in the box, and I'm actually considering selling it. Just because as cool of a kit as it is, I just don't have anywhere to like display it, and if it's just going to be sitting in the box, I might as well just sell it. If I did want to go back and work on it, would I keep the plated gold or repaint it? I would probably be very tempted to repaint it, just because even though those nub marks are small, if I really wanted to properly display it, I would probably want to actually like really properly do it up. which would involve painting it. And if I'm going to paint it, I might as well paint the whole thing. But I don't know. Yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll just ultimately opt to sell it. But at the moment, I don't need to make that decision, so I'm not decided one way or the other. But it's a pretty awesome kit, regardless. PG Unicorn Fenix NT. No, I don't have that, and I don't plan to get that. Just the regular one. I don't like the narrative version, just because, I mean, really the only difference is the tails out the back, and I don't like the tails. It's not something that's really appealing. I don't know. I'm actually really excited for the new HG G-Witch kits coming. Oh yeah, I am too. A lot of the new ones that are coming look really, really cool. It's just the aerial rebuild design, I don't know, doesn't really do much for me at the moment, but a lot of other stuff that's coming out looks awesome. Definitely. Yeah, when the cockpit hatch of the aerial was first shown, someone made a functional with the HG within the same day. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, those builders in Japan, man, they're on it. As soon as, like, for when a new Gundam series is coming out, and you saw this with that builder in China, I believe, Ray. Like, as soon as the aerial Gundam design was, like, first shown, he started work on building a 1/100 scale, like just a scratch built 1/100 scale version of that. I know we're talking about Japan, but yeah, it's just, I shouldn't say Japan. I should just say amazing builders on Twitter, especially, but not exclusively, work amazingly fast on stuff like that when there's new stuff coming out. It's definitely cool to see. But oh, I'm pulling out these parts here for the leg and looking at the instructions like, oh, okay, I need that part, F125, where is it? And then realizing, oh, the instructions actually have you build the arms next, not the legs. But since I already have the leg parts out, we'll skip to the legs and then we'll come back to the arms. We'll build up this leg first. How fast they work blows my mind. Yeah, amazing, right, Chris? Well, you gotta imagine, I mean, I don't want to generalize because I have no idea, but most of those builders who you see that do like amazing work really fast, I would imagine they're probably don't have families and they're probably just like single guys. Either that or they're like a little bit older guys and maybe they have kids that are kind of grown, in high school, college, whatever, something like that, or adult children. Basically what I mean is that they don't have children around the house to, soak up their time. They have a bit more free time than those of us with children. That would be a big factor, I would imagine. You don't know. I don't know about every one of them. I know some of them probably do have kids and they just work really well. They're just really good at what they do. All right. Let's see. What is that? Family comes first. I mean, yeah, for sure. I'm sure the ones that do have family, I'm sure they're responsible about it. Maybe they're able to be responsible with their time and also work really well really quickly. It's totally possible. Let's see. Light blue. I have a feeling that part is in the wrong space. Yep. Ooh. Event here. Big ups to their respective partners for letting them work while they pick up the slack. Hopefully that's not the case. I mean, like I've always told you guys whenever I've talked about this subject that like when I work at home and these days I don't do I don't work at home as much as I used to, like not even close. When I used to do like a lot more work at home, it would definitely be like only when like family time was like not an option. So like when my wife and the kids are asleep. So if there's ever like time when I could be with my family, then I'm with my family. But if they're asleep, then that's when I can, you know, do what I want to do. Just make stuff and share it with you guys. But there should be 2 of this part. Copper gold. Yellow gold. Gold. Does it say the color under every single... I think it does. I just now noticing this in the manual. I'm going to show this to you guys. Under every single part, it tells you what color. So like here, for example, A19, gold, L2, red, C18, copper gold. So I thought it was maybe just on the gold parts that it did that, just so that you can like do the correct color gold. But if we skip ahead like to the armor section here, it's also here, E2, white, J2, 13 is light gray. So that's interesting. Don't know if I've ever seen that in a manual before. Did the MGEX unicorn also have that? I mean, with the unicorn, it's like 3 colors. 4, I guess. It's white, dark blue, metallic gray, and then your cycle frame color. But anyway, there should be 2 of those parts, and I'm wondering if I also have those in the wrong place or something. Or I guess it just has us build 2 of them, 2 of this part now. Because, yeah, all the leg frame is just doubled. Okay, that's what it is. I have them separated, but... So that means I'm also going to have to fish out these other parts. Let's see. Where is it going to differentiate? Left and the right. Oh, not until the very end. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull out all of the leg frame parts. Since it's all doubled. Good day. What's up, y'all? Yes, are you going to repaint the burn gold? Yeah, as I was just talking about earlier, I am planning to... I don't want to say for sure that I'm going to paint this kit because I try as much as possible to avoid doing that where I'm telling you guys I'm going to do this and this and this and never get to it, because there's already so many different ideas and works in progress and stuff that I've talked about that I've either not started or not finished. So I want to not do that, but I will just say to you guys that I am highly considering painting this kit. Let's just say that. But yeah, man, there's just so many parts. Alright. It's definitely going to take a while. Anyway, yes, if I do repaint it, I will be repainting the gold. And I'm not totally decided yet because I was thinking like, okay, if I repaint it, I'm not going to do any customization. I just want to just do a repaint and that's it, because, you know, I want to repaint it in a cool, unique color scheme, but I don't want to make like a whole big project out of it, doing like a bunch of customization or anything like that. But now that I have been thinking about it a little bit more, I'm thinking like, maybe you could just make a couple of small tweaks to the design here and there, maybe. But that's, you know, I can tell you guys from my experience, it's a dangerous game, because once you start thinking like that's how what starts off as the idea of a small project turns into a bigger project that ends up taking more time, and then it ultimately takes more time than you expected, and then you know, you don't like that necessarily. I don't like that because I like to have fun with projects. You know, there's people that will spend months and months and months working on kits and they make amazing works. And, you know, I have, you know, the utmost respect for people that do that. I like to not work on kits for that long. I like to make it good, make it cool, make it my own, and then move on to the next thing. Because there's a lot of stuff that I would love to work on. I mean, like, I have a lot of ideas for different kits, and I would love to just work on, you know, I would rather make, for me personally, in a year, I would rather make like 12 to 15 like really cool works that, you know, they're not going to win GWC or anything, but they're cool and I enjoy it and it's something unique and fun and I had fun doing it. I'd rather do that than spend like all year on making like 2 really awesome like GBWC level, like really super detailed and amazing works. That's just like how I prefer it. But yeah. So when working on a kit like this, can you guys hear me? Okay, I don't know why it's saying the camera died. Or, I don't know, I think something happened. It should be okay now, though. Can you guys hear me? Let me know. Can you hear me okay? Apologies for that. I don't know what happened. I accidentally touched something, or I don't know. On my end, though, okay. That's what's not working. Okay. The camera where you guys see me is not working. For some reason. Let me see. You can still hear me, though. So that's good. I don't know why that camera came disconnected. That's weird. Let me do one of these here. All right. Should be back on now. It's doing something strange. Yeah, you can hear me. Okay, all right, that's fine. But you can't see me. You can still see like what's going on here, which I feel like probably a little bit better. Let's see. Yeah, this camera is doing something funky. There. No. That mic's still good. This camera is weird. Why is it doing that? I don't know. Let's well, for the moment, let me do that. Let's see. Not sure what that means. The camera's now doing something where it's flashing. Don't know what that's all about. So for now, we'll stick with this camera. which is fine. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, the disembodied voice. That's fine. Really, you guys, I mean, you're just here to see the build anyway. You really don't even need to see me up here, but that's fine. Probably low battery. It doesn't have battery though. It's plugged in via USB. It's plugged in, but flashing. You can see that? Yeah, you guys know what that means? Flashing, which I mean, I guess means that's got something going on. I had to search Google, see what that means. I don't know, but I'll figure it out later. It's fine. You guys can see me here. It's all good. This camera actually probably looks better anyway, to be honest. But it's just kind of more off to the side when I'm building, but it's all good. It's a connection error, I would guess. Something, I don't know. Yeah. Overheated maybe, yeah. I mean, it might be, even though like I told you guys, it's freezing up here this morning. But anyway, let's move on. As I was saying before, our technical difficulties is just I was talking about, yeah, how I like to go about projects like this. Once you start working on a project and the ideas start flowing, it's easy to kind of have a project that you go into, at least in my case. I mean, again, I'm just talking about for me. If I go into a project thinking I want to keep it relatively simple, once you start getting ideas, what you originally intended to be as something simple can, kind of snowball, and you're thinking, oh, how about doing this? What about doing this? What about doing this? And, that's fine if you're okay with the project taking that direction. But if you want to kind of keep it relatively, if you want to stick with your original goal of keeping it, relatively quicker of a project, then yeah, that snowballing can be dangerous. Dangerous only in the sense that you're just, drifting from what your goal was, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because if you end up taking more time on a project, and ultimately if you end up taking more time on a project and you still have fun with it, I mean, then you haven't lost anything, but you maybe just may feel a bit unhappy just in the simple fact that it was not what you had set out to do. If that makes sense. Anyway, but that's all there is to that. So the point is, I'm thinking about doing a little bit of changing to the design, just in the fact that I really don't care at all for the funnels, or not the funnels, I'm sorry, the dragoons of this design. One of the things that I don't like about this design is just the dragoons on the back. So I'm thinking maybe omit those and do something different for the backpack. Keep the main gun design and just do something with the backpack. That's actually one thing that I wanted to do with the Freedom. Okay, almost missed this part there somehow. With the Freedom 2.0, and I actually started working on that. So that's another work in progress that's just like been forever lost in time. It's still around somewhere, but making like a master grade Freedom Gundam, but instead the 2.0, and just omitting the wings basically and making it to like a simpler backpack, and just something different kind of, and then just making it, I think my goal was to have it just having like a couple of like katana style swords. So imagine like the Freedom Gundam 2.0 but outfitted more like an Astray red frame, so it's just like a kind of simple backpack, and then using like katana style swords, something like that. And that's probably kind of the direction that I'm thinking to go, like with this one as well. And I think it's just because the design is, I mean, you can see the similarities to the Astray in the design, just how it's kind of got a lot of detail and a lot of frame poking out through the armor. In that sense, minus the backpack, it's very similar to the Astray red frame. So yeah, something something kind of along those lines in terms of just kind of like the overall vibe of the mobile suit, I think is probably the direction that I'll go. And if I ever get back to that project with the Freedom 2.0, that's kind of the route that I was taking with that as well. Bahamut said it sounds freaking cool, go for it. So yes, with that endorsement, I will. But yeah, I'm definitely thinking about it. Put a couple of pieces in the wrong spot, so they're kind of like way down in there. And this knee part here is supposed to make two of. Kind of. Anyway, we're getting caught up here. But I do love this gold. But yeah, I don't know. So for the frame color, so for the repaint, seems to be a thing that we're talking about quite a lot, just because I'm kind of brainstorming about it a lot, I guess. Brainstorming about the repaint of this. For the frame color, instead of gold, like I talked about in the previous live stream, I'm either thinking like either just kind of a standard gray kind of color, kind of standard interframe color, or maybe like metallic red, something similar to like the Amazing Strike Freedom. I'm still kind of on the fence about that. I mean, the other thing that I mentioned was a silver interframe. A silver might also be kind of cool, but or some kind of mix of the two. I don't know. Could be some kind of a mix of like just gray and then like some metallic red. Although I don't really think that I would like that. If it was like predominantly metallic red with some bits of gray, I think I might like that, because that would be more fitting. All right, yellow gold. That is that part. Yeah, that fits on the back of there. Oh, okay, like that, and that. All right, these parts are a little bit different. These ones go here. So I can see what it's doing here with these, with the ankle joint articulation. It's pretty cool. I'll show you guys in just a second. I can see what's going on with it, but it's going to be harder to illustrate to you guys yet until I get this actually put together. So get this and then I can show you. Ian Lee, what's up? What is up? Indeed, building a cool new kit from Bandai. Oh, and on that note, yeah, that's the other thing that I'm going to be working on this week. I'm hoping to have out for you guys by the end of the week, but we'll see how it goes. Just because I want to make sure that the review of this is out for you guys as soon as I can. But other than that, my other main goal for this week is the best of 2022 video. I didn't do one last year just because I was in the middle of moving and it was just kind of a very hectic period. I just didn't really have time to do that. Frankly, it was a mess. But this year, I can. So I do want to make that. And I also have something else that I kind of want to do with that video that I think should be fun and interesting. So like every year I try to kind of like mix it up a little bit, either having like, I think one year I did like the best and worst of the year, and another year I did like best of the year and also the best of premium Bandai kits, which I could probably do that again this year as well, because there was quite a lot of premium Bandai kits again, unfortunately. But I have another idea as well for something that I want to do for this video, so it won't only be like best Bandai Gunpla kits of 2022, it'll have that, and then it'll have something else in the video as well. So I just need to work on that. Let me show you guys this. the ankle articulation. So here's the lower part of the leg at the knee. So here's our, well, the lower half of the knee bend anyway. Very shiny. The back thrusters here, those expand out. There's 3 of those that kind of move in conjunction like that. Very cool. But here at the ankles, this part, kind of like with the lower part of the torso, it just has a hinge, kind of swivels side to side there like that. It's very cool. So when you have the legs kind of spread out like that, the lower leg armor right here will shift side to side. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. All right, as we were saying, sorry I'm late. Was finishing recording. No worries. We still got a long way to go. We're not even done with the frame yet. Needs more gold, do you think, Kyle? Sure, why not? Yeah. If you got that much gold, let's add some more. Metallic gray is the color I'm looking for. Okay, there it is. This one to there. And then gold. This one here, okay. Like that. And the diaphragm. And also, I talked about this in the stream the other day, but I know one of the other things that people were also concerned about with this kit was the non-plated gold. And so far, my impression is, I mean, yeah, it would be great if all the gold was plated, but is the non-plated gold something that looks bad on the kit, or anyway, it makes it look like kind of less in any way? I don't think so. It's because I think most of the gold that's going to be showing once the kit is actually all put together is going to be the plated gold. Most of the gold, which is not plated, I think is going to be mostly all covered up, and we'll see. I'm not totally sure about that, but that's the impression that I'm getting from just the build so far, is that any gold that's going to be showing on the completed kit is the plated gold. So if you don't like the just molded gold, doesn't really seem like you really need to worry too much about it, because it's not going to show at all. But like I said, I'll confirm that here in just a little bit. All right, we got this. Whoa, I was going to have to search for that. That one here on the front, and this one here on the back. I do like that I can build both legs at the same time. It's always faster and easier when you can just do both, and you don't have to worry about the left side and the right side being different. All I have to do is build them both at the same time, and then when you go to actually attach it, just the top part, you just turn 180 degrees, and that's it. Easy. I like it. Very cool. Non-plated gold adds more color different definition. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. It just gives you, an additional shade of gold. So actually you have 4. You have the copper gold, the kind of just gold, as it's called in the menu, it's just gold, but I keep referring to it as the orange gold because it is a more kind of rich orangey gold. And then they have white gold as your 3 different colors of gold that are plated. And then you have the non-plated gold. So it actually gives you 4 different colors of gold, which, would you rather have 4 different golds or 3 different golds? Could they have done an additional 4th color plated gold? Sure, but just remember how expensive the plating, how much expense the plating process adds to the kit price. Just look at like any plated kit, and basically it just doubles the price of the kit, the plated and non-plated version. So if you're already thinking like, wow, this is an expensive kit, imagine if they added, if just the G runner is that's it. It's just the G runner that's molded gold. If they would have plated that as well, I mean, that's adding, I don't know how much, another $10-15 to the price. I mean, if it's a big expensive kit, you're going to get one or the other. spending an additional $10 or $15, I'm sure there's a lot of people that would say, yes, I would gladly pay that for that G-Runner to be plated as well. But I don't know, not everybody necessarily. I think, like I said, once we see how the kit is going to look when it's completed, I think a lot of you guys will probably agree that it looks, perfectly fine with that G-Runner being not plated. And with that, I will say hello to Brian and Travis. What's up? Trav and I asked to say hello. Hello. Hey, guys. More plated under the armor would have gotten damaged and scratched so fast. Yeah, that's the problem too. I don't think that, Bandai's plated parts usually don't scratch that much, so I don't think that they would have necessarily gotten damaged, but they do definitely mess with the tolerances a little bit. So like plated parts, usually the fit is a bit more tight, like how I'm having this problem right here. I think I didn't have this part on there quite right, and I'm trying to take it off and make sure that it's on there correctly, and it's very tight. So yeah, I'm not sure, because this is, now we're talking like really, really, really small measurements, but I'm not sure if when Bandai's planning a kit like this, if they take that very thin layer of coating, if they take that into consideration when they plan the tolerances of the fitting of a kit like this. So like between two parts that are not plated, they would plan the tolerance to be this much, but if they're going to be plated, if they know that they're going to be plated, they'll plan the tolerance to be slightly more to account for the plating. I'm not sure if they do that or not, but I do know that, obviously the tolerance does play a part in the fit. So that's something else that surely needs to be taken into account. Where's the other half of the piece? There it is. Okay. So that goes facing that way. And so there's the one side and the other side. I don't necessarily think that more plated parts means that would those parts that the plating would be damaged necessarily, but certainly, yeah, the tolerance being tighter can make it harder, like for disassembly or even assembly. If you put a part together, slightly wrong, you need to take it apart or do anything like that, then yeah, it's definitely harder to do if you got like a really tight fit. All right, and so this part is also ×2, right? Yeah, okay. For the ankles. Okay. That. It's freezing up here. Cameras on the side skirts should have been more angular rather than completely squared. Oh, just a design feature difference. Just like with the Freedom 2.0, they definitely made some slight design adjustments to this, and it's kind of what they've been doing with all of the recent Seed Master Grade kits. They're not anime accurate; they're a little bit stylized, and I'm fine with that. As someone who's like not a huge Seed fan, I imagine there's maybe people who do prefer the like more anime accurate designs, but as far as what we get with these kits, I'm happy with the slight changes to the design. I think they're pretty cool. You remind me of Andy from The Office. I've not actually watched enough of The Office to know who that is, as in I've only ever seen like little tiny bits and clips of it. But is that the who is Andy? Is that the main character, the Steve Carell's character, or is that somebody different? I don't know. I am planning to watch it though. I download, or I shouldn't say I downloaded. I signed up for Peacock. As in like for the subscription service for Peacock, and I did that for the full reason of wanting to watch the new Jurassic World movie. I wanted to watch Jurassic World Dominion, and it's only on Peacock, so I was not able to go see it in the theater. So, all right, I'll get Peacock and watch the movie, and then just cancel it right away after that, so that I'm not just stuck with a subscription service that I don't really care for, but I have no other thing else that I was planning to watch on there. But I saw that it does also have The Office, and I've never watched it. And obviously I've heard about it plenty. I know it's something that I'm sure I would enjoy if I watched it. So I would like to watch that before canceling my subscription to Peacock. But I've still not watched it yet. I need to do that so that I can stop paying for Peacock. But there's our gold shoes, and then the ankle armor actually plugs in here at the back of the ankle, which is very high grade-esque, but as long as it works. And the frame for the legs is completed. The rest of these parts and the armor pieces I'm going to put back over here for the moment. Just building up all the frame first. And although we were supposed to build the arms up and we skipped the arms, but since we've got the legs put together, we might as well do the hips so that we can put the legs onto the frame. There's the legs. Streaming services are a repeated problem of cable. Yeah, totally. Dominion is on Amazon Prime for free. Dominion is on Amazon Prime for free. Well, it wasn't before, Chris. When it first came out on streaming, it was only on Peacock. Anyway, and on just a brief side note about Jurassic Park Dominion, it was awful. I love Jurassic Park as a series, big Jurassic Park fan, but man, Dominion was some hot garbage. It was from the start to the finish. From the way that it started, I was just right off the bat, I was thinking ooh, this is not gonna be good. And then all the way till the end, I was like, ooh, this is not good. I mean, the whole Jurassic World trilogy obviously is, not as good. Obviously not going to be as good as the original. I like The Lost World a lot. Jurassic Park 3, even Jurassic Park 3, I don't mind. It's not that bad. I don't think. It's fine. And the first Jurassic World, also not bad. Fine. Second Jurassic World was kind of, again, okay. And yeah, Dominion just though, it was just really bad. Really bad. They made the insects the main villain. Yeah. Why the insects played such a huge role in it, I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, man, where to start with that movie? Jeez, there was just so many strange decisions, we'll say. Why? They wanted to include the legacy characters, which, okay, fine. Yeah, of course, it was great to see the original cast members back. But if you're going to have them back for a good reason. They didn't do that. And yeah, if you're going to let the dinosaurs out, which was how the previous hang on, wait a second. what the fuck? If they're gonna let the dinosaurs out, is how the previous movie ended, then have them out. But then they're just back in a park again in Dominion. The dinosaur, like, the movie deals with the dinosaurs being like out in the real world for like 5 minutes, and then they're just back in a park again. Like, I guess the only other time when they weren't in a park was like the sequence when they're in Malta, isn't it? Right? And like that was fairly interesting, but it was like basically like, oh, what if we did like this big like Jason Bourne style sequence, but it's with dinosaurs? Like, yeah, no thanks. I don't know. It was a mess. And honestly, like a bad story or like a less than ideal story in a Jurassic World movie, I can live with because, you know, it's Jurassic World. It's fine. But, you know, honestly, for me, the story wasn't even the worst part. The worst part for me was honestly probably the editing. The editing was god awful. It was very, very bad editing. And just the way the scenes, the shots, things jumped around, the way that stuff was revealed and shown, and just, man, I'm telling you, if you didn't notice the editing, go back if you guys dare. I mean, if you care. But I mean, if you've not seen the movie yet, I'm sorry for spoiling it to you. But if you have seen the movie, and you know, if you are ever at the point where you're finding yourself watching it again, number one, sorry that you found yourself in that position, because I don't know if I'm ever gonna want to watch it again. I probably will, but I don't know. But if you do, pay attention to the editing, because it's weird. I know from what I've heard about the movie that they shot a lot more than what they were ultimately able to put into the movie. That they shot like basically like I think I saw something. This seems like an embellishment, I would say, but they said they shot like a 6-hour movie and then had to edit it down, and it was still a long movie at the end of the day. But it definitely feels like, yeah, they shot way more and then had to edit it down way too much. They should have done like all the series do, like split the last movie into 2 parts. Have a Dominion Part 1 and Dominion Part 2. Sure, fine. Oh, that's weird. I didn't think that weird. That's an odd bend. I was not expecting that, but okay. Interesting. Huh. Talk about a full spread there. Very interesting. Alright, anyway, moral of the story is that dinosaurs can and should be caged. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, what even was the moral of the story? Who knows? The original, like, series, like, with the original movie especially, right, like, had a moral in that, like, you can't control nature, right? That was the whole thing. Then after that, the moral was you can't control Hollywood's thirst for money. And that's just a shame. Anyway, moving on. Best thing to come out of the Jurassic World trilogy is Jurassic World Evolution 2. Yeah, not it's not something that I've ever messed around with. I don't really, not something that I do. But sure, yeah. The games looks cool. What I've seen of it, I've seen like a little bit of like different gameplay and stuff like that online. Videos here and there. Now, this part goes here. It's supposed to fit all the way down there, or no? Not quite. It's supposed to leave it. How far? Just like that much. Okay. Either die hero or I don't know. Too many sequels kills the magic. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, I think that, like I said, it's just a shame because how what was it? Fallen Kingdom, right? Was the second Jurassic World? How that ended, you know, with them releasing the dinosaurs was something different and unique. We've not seen really that much like dinosaurs out in the real world, and there's certainly a lot of interesting ways that they could have taken that. But it just kind of feels like I was gonna say like a swing and a miss, but it wasn't even a swing. It's just a miss. It's more like the ball was pitched and they just watched it fly by without even swinging. Is kind of more how it felt. And I guess that's it for the waist frame. So here's the dreaded part that people are worried about, this peg here between the top and bottom half. So I'll be very cautious with that. Extremely so. Although I really don't think that's as bad as some people are making out to be. I mean, out of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of this kit that's already sold, you know, a couple of people were less than careful and ended up breaking a peg in their kit. I mean, yeah, it's probably going to happen. Probably happens with any kit that comes out. It's just that you don't hear about it quite as much because it's not a big, expensive, hyped up kit. Any RG, HG, MG kit that comes out probably got a part in there that there's a handful of people out there in the world, out of the thousands and thousands of the kits that are sold, there's a handful of people that end up breaking a part on the kit and probably don't hear about it typically on, you know, just kind of a standard release, something that's not quite as big of a deal. I don't know, could be wrong, but I'm saying that at the moment I have faith in Bandai, and I don't think that the peg in the body there is going to be an issue. I'm not expecting it to be. I'm still going to be careful either way, sure. And I'll still, in the review, I will still caution people to be careful with that because, you know, you never know. But it's a model kit. You should be careful with every aspect of it at all times anyway, just because it's not a toy, just because it can seem like a toy, just because of how good just because how good Bandai is at what they do. Just because Bandai makes really good quality model kits that are basically on the level of toys, that does not mean that they are toys. Still have to treat it like a model kit. Anyway, a Pink Ghost is there in the chat, loving the song. Maybe because it's I can't hear what song is playing right now, but it very might well be one by Pink Ghost. So thank you. Thank you for the tunes. You guys check out Pink Ghost on SoundCloud. It is right, yes. SoundCloud. I'll also say too, guys, that the articulated hands, garbage. I don't like articulated hands, and it's this exactly for a number of reasons. But one of the big reasons why I really don't like articulated hands is that as soon as you go to do that initial turn, because like the fingers are like, as they come on the runner, they're like turned 90 degrees, and you have to turn it 90 degrees to make all the fingers straight. As soon as you do that first 90-degree turn on there, it just pops right out of the knuckle, right out at the base knuckle. You're never going to get it back in there tight again. You'll get it in there so that it stays there, but it's not going to be tight again. Once it's broken out of there, it's never going back in a tight way. That's why, one of the reasons why I don't like articulated hands. And that's exactly what happened with these. So I will show them to you guys in the review, but I will not use them at all. Because you have open hands, you have closed fists, you have weapon holding hands in there as just fixed pose hands, and that's all you need. You don't need fully articulated hands, except for doing one of these, which is the only thing that I ever see people do with the fully articulated hands that you couldn't do with just fixed pose hands. What are you gonna do with them? You're gonna do one of these, you're gonna do one of these, this, and you're gonna do holding on to something. Let's see. Do you ever get on Gundam forums? No, I don't. Let's see. Never knew the Stark and Echoes had a couple of parts. What are you guys talking about? Visors? Kids? My articulated hands for the MGEX strike freedom is loose. Hate it. I'm not going to use them, like I said. I wonder how much it would cost if we were to use real gold for this. I don't know. Quite a bit, I guess. Quite a bit. In just a minute, I'm going to have to step out for a moment. Put you guys on hold, but I do not have a hold screen set up on this. I keep forgetting to do that, to make that a way to, not like a way to put you guys on hold, but like a screen to put up that says like be right back, one of those kind of things. Keep forgetting to make one of those to switch to, so when I step away, I'm just gonna have to leave it here with just nothing on screen. Well, it'll be me. Well, it'll be this without me, I guess I should say. So on my way, if somebody's there in the chat saying like, what's going on? Where is he? You guys there in the chat, just let that person know like, oh, I'll be right back. Appreciate it. And I'll try to remember to make one of those so that I can switch to that. One of the things that I need to do in my studio reworking is update some stuff with the streaming setup, like the physical setup of like where the mic is, where the camera is. That's like pretty much set out, but still like with the actual setup of like how things work on like the computer end of streaming, there's still some things to sort out. That's that. Right? Really? Oh, okay. Interesting way to build the arms. It's different from how I was expecting. It's kind of very sectional. I would have expected it to be kind of all kind of more jointed together, which it will be ultimately, but it's not yet at the moment, which is interesting. Although I am just going to kind of skip ahead here for a moment and just go ahead and put these parts together. But then I have these couple little parts here. That goes into there. And I like that. Happy New Year from Germany. Hey, what's going on over there? War Harry. Hey everyone. Happy New Year. My RG Wing Zero has one issue. It's way too top heavy because of the wings, and it's fragile. Yeah, the RG Wing Zero. Yep. As Sage Man said, Wing Zero demands an action base. Yeah, I mean, I would assume you probably do have it on an action base already, but even on an action base, it could still be the case that you're having issues with it being top heavy, or it's not, basically the waist not being able to support the weight of the body. I could definitely see that being an issue. Yeah. There's kind of not really any good solution for that other than going in to modify some section of like the waist or something like that just to make it tighter. It just goes in there like that. Oh, all right. I don't even display it anymore. I did have one at the time. Did have an action base, but that doesn't even display anymore. I mean, I guess another thing that you could do would just be to display it in like a standing pose and use an action base behind it to just kind of hold it up from behind. But if you don't even have it on display anymore, then fair play. But it's another option, I suppose. Let's see. That's not where that goes. You want, that is light gray. Like this. Okay. And then blue. Interesting. And this part here on the top. Yeah, painting this kit is going to be quite a chore. There's so many pieces, which is great. It just means that it's going to be a great looking kit when it's all said and done. But man, it's going to be taking a long time. Let's see. That's in there like that. Those both fit into there like that. Oh, okay. Cool. This is the shoulder frame here, obviously. I don't know how close you guys can see it, but how obvious it is, but shoulder inner frame here. And I'll show you guys all the arm movement and everything here in just a moment. After we do that, we've got another layer of gold that goes over the top of this. Like that. Phew. Man. It's a lot of stacking. These are some thick shoulders. There's a lot of pieces that go together, stacked together here to make this shoulder armor. They usually on like the inner frame of the legs, especially like the lower legs, that's kind of like the thickest part just in terms of like layers of plastic, layers of the frame, and especially on this one because you have a lot of different layers here kind of built up of the frame. The shoulders usually not that much kind of like inner frame going on in the shoulders, even if they're like pretty large shoulders. The inner frame's usually like, relatively simple. It's just inside the shoulders. It's just a couple pieces usually, but this one's probably like the most intense inner frame I've ever seen for just shoulder armor. It's pretty wild. That's all in there like that. And so then we can put that onto there. And onto there. And for the moment, I'll put the articulated hand on there. Or not. Does that not even fit tightly in there? Did I miss a part or something? Why is that hand not even fit tightly in there? There's no way I missed something. Is it that the hand doesn't fit tightly until what? What's the problem here? Yeah, let's see. Okay. Yeah, we're supposed to take out that ball joint because that one's too small. And put this part on that has a larger ball joint. And see, the pinky is already coming out. So I'm thinking Arby's, and also not thinking to use these articulated hands for anything other than showing you briefly in the review and then promptly throwing them in the trash. Okay, instead, we'll use these fixed posed closed fists because they're the superior option. Okay, to zoom in a little bit here, show you guys what's kind of going on here with that shoulder inner frame. As you can see, the layers of that, like that kind of opens up and kind of spreads out those vents. There you go. Kind of do it slowly so you guys can see that, how when you open that up, spreads out those vents, kind of expands them out. Pretty cool. I'm gonna say, and these flaps here on the front and back will move up and down so you can move those sections of armor out of the way. Yeah, the lower arm there down to the hand. Pretty cool. We're almost done here at the frame. All we really have left is just the other arm. So we'll get to that, and then we'll do the backpack, which is what's next. Here in a moment, I'm going to take a brief break. Hey, your Yakshiki's coming in there pretty nice. Nice one, Firehawk. Exactly. I'm going to be right back, guys. If somebody comes in and they're like, hey, what's going on? Just tell them I'll be right back. Oh, right. All right. Ooh, sexy. Indeed. All right, let's put these armor pieces away. Put these hands together here. We can go ahead and do that. And the open hand, the open fixed pose hand, even has hinge at the wrist. So, I mean, come on, got everything. So our armor pieces. There's so little gold left in the box now. What was originally so much gold. But all right, guys, welcome. You guys talking about what the ball and socket joint on the ground Gundam, the way that Bandai's been in like kind of the last few years doing like their HG Gundam chest like articulation joint there, the ball and socket joint in the chest. It's pretty not good. It's fine, but yeah, it definitely has a tendency. If we're talking about the same thing, just from me glancing at the chat there momentarily, if you guys are talking about the same thing, yeah, it works well enough for for posing, and it's a nice point of articulation. But yeah, it pops out very easily, and it's not so easy to get back into place once it's popped out. So yeah, it can be a little annoying. I will agree on that. It's not the best design, but it does well what it's intended to do. So I mean, it's not bad, but yeah, I agree. There's issues there with that point of articulation in that Gundam design that they use for a few different Gundams. Hand parts. Uh-oh. And I realize I put the may have put that other hand together incorrectly. I did not. Okay, good. Let's see, that one's for that. That's right. Okay, got it. Articulated hand. Zach, I'm gonna start up my airbrush and compressor again after more than 1 year. Do you think they're still working? Not sure if they're rusted. Yeah, probably not rusted. I would definitely I don't know what you call it. And it'll let the air out of the bottom of your compressor, if that makes sense. Somebody in the chat help me out there. I'm like having a moment. My brain's not working. There should be on like the bottom. If your compressor has a tank, if it doesn't have a tank, then never mind. But if it has a tank, there should be like somewhere on the bottom to like let the pressure out, and it will also drain your tank of any like just built up liquid water in there. You probably want to do that, because if there's water that's just been sitting in there, it's probably nasty, and yeah, it's probably rusty on the inside of the tank and all that. You don't want any of that to come out in your air, so it would probably be a good idea to do that. Yes. But the actual airbrush should be fine as long as you left it clean. Oh, War Harry is back. All right, welcome back. Here's the hand that we're going to use, close fist. And our other hand is here. Had a phone call. No worries. I'm expecting a phone call, and hopefully it will come later, not during the stream, because I do have to take it if it comes. So that may mean that I have to put you guys on hold, or at least put you guys on mute. I can still build while I'm on the phone, but I'll be able to talk, obviously. The live stream can continue, and I'll just be muted. It's gonna go there. All right, so far the arm's straightforward enough that I'm thinking I should be fine with what I'm doing here, which is just building it from memory. But here's where I may run into an issue. No, I think I'll be all right. I think I got it. It's just like that, as long as I don't forget anything. So that's for shoulder, 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 arm, 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 elbow. That goes in here. Okay. As I was saying, easily one of my most hyped kits was the Real Great Astray Red frame. I did actually get it. I just wish I took better care of it. I won't make the same mistakes with my entry grade kits. Real Great Astray was pretty cool. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the Astray in general, but I did really like that kit quite a lot. Yeah. The RG was very nice. Very nice indeed. Sweet. That's there. Okay. Other shoulder armor inner frame. It's done. That's the lower arm. We just need to check which way this part goes in the elbow joint. No, okay, yeah, that makes sense. These parts just fit together like that. Copper gold over the top, copper gold, Z. Part here, facing the front and back. Part on there, part on there, part on here. Hey, easy peasy. That means we're ready to put the armor on, right? No, because we built the backpack next. Interestingly enough. And then we can put all the armor on. And I don't know if we build the backpack and then put it aside, or build the backpack, put it on, and then put the rest of the armor on. That would be kind of weird. But here's the frame. Zoom in a little bit and focus that up for you guys. There you go. Very gold. Not entirely though, it's not solid gold. You do have a couple little pieces of kind of armor like around the vents here, mostly in the legs, the shoulders, and there's a couple of that metallic gray, a couple of those metallic gray parts used around here and there. But as you guys can see, pretty impressive frame for sure. I think if you wanted to go for like a armor half on, half off, I mean, it's definitely going to be a pretty cool looking frame to leave part of that exposed. Let me just before we move on, let me snap a quick photo for my own purposes. Let's see. I want that to be a little bit more down. That looks pretty good. Out of focus. Cool. Got it. All right. Now we can put that aside and build the backpack. So yeah, there is even more detail that, I mean, aside from just all that there's the 3D metallic stickers and the photo etch parts that you would have on there as well, which I've not got any of those on there just because, like I said, I'm going to put those on later after it gets painted. But assuming you had those on there as well, it'd be, you know, even that much more so detailed. Beam saber effect parts can go over there. It's all Dragoon parts up there, just kind of up out of the way because those I think will probably come later on. There's certainly a fair bit that's going on here with the backpack, though. As you'd imagine, pretty large and quite involved backpack with this Gundam. There's a lot of parts here for the backpack. Probably just as many parts in the backpack than there is on like a standard high grade kit. And it's close. Especially a lot of the modern high grades do have a fair amount of parts on them. But there's a lot here. Yeah. How's it going, Zach? Long time since I caught a stream. Hey, Jazz. Welcome. Glad you catch the stream. We are, I would say, halfway through, but I would, well, yeah, probably it's about halfway. The backpack will take a little while. Putting all the armor on, I think, will probably not take all that long because all kind of like the hard parts of the construction is done. Basically, all the armor should essentially pretty easily just kind of just pop on into place. I don't think it should be that time consuming. We'll find out. Frame already looking less bulky. Already looking like a less bulky Akatsuki. Interesting that you should mention that kit, because I actually started working on that kit, the Dragon Momoko version of the Akatsuki kit, which was gifted to me on my trip to the Philippines. So thank you very much to the bros there for gifting me that kit when I was there. But I'm finally actually getting around to building the kit, and yeah, I can't really say too much about it just because I've only kind of just started just cutting out all the parts and things like that. That was like a couple weeks ago, and I've not been able to go back and work on it anymore yet. So I couldn't tell you guys like how good or bad it is. I couldn't give you just like a simple review. Other than that, I can say I'm sure it's quite good. Other kind of similar Dragon Momoko kits that I have built have been good. So I'm sure their Akatsuki is nice. And the cool thing about the Dragon Momoko Akatsuki is that you have the two different options for the backpack, which is cool, right? The only thing that I didn't really like about the Strike Noir from Dragon Momoko, which would be a similar kit as far as I can tell, having, like I said, not fully built the Akatsuki yet. Just assuming that they're quite similar. The only downside is that they do have a couple of like relatively difficult seams, but other than that, very nice kits overall, I guess. So I'm looking forward to getting that built up. I built up finally my Astray out frame from Dragon Ball Woko. That was another one that I received in the Philippines, and I finally got that one built up, and it's quite cool. And then now we have the Estrella frame on the way, the master grade version coming from Bandai. So we'll see how that compares later on. I won't do a comparison. I am planning on getting the Bandai version of the outframe. I will not do a comparison between the two, like in the review video, but I will, in some other way, I'll let you guys know kind of just my general thoughts. I may just briefly discuss it in that video. I don't mind giving the kit kind of its own time of day, but just like since it is at the end of the day intellectual property theft from Bandai, just out of respect for Bandai, I won't show the Dragon Ball Woko kit in the same review as the Bandai one, but I can at least just kind of talk about it in some other way. I don't know, just do like a Instagram post or something with like a picture of them side by side. Maybe I think that's probably enough. I don't know. We'll see when the time comes. It's all good and well, but yeah. All right. I'm surprised Bandai has never released an MG Akatsuki of their own. They have 90% of the frame. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that, you know, is quite mysterious why Bandai has or hasn't made certain things, but, you know, it's just Bandai doing their thing. So actually we need 4 of these, this part. Like that, okay. So that's 1. 2. All right, yes, that's right. Goes on there. And this one on there. This is on like the Dragoons and the side skirts, which would be like the railguns. Only areas of the kit that I'm worried that will have much in the way of seam lines for this. I'm assuming pretty much everywhere else, arms, legs, and all that, we won't have any seam lines, anything worth noting anywhere on the kit, even on the head. I don't think there's going to be anything. The only place that I'm wondering if there might be some seams is going to be on like the backpack and the weapons. So we shall see now that we're working on the backpack here. But I think probably what they've done with this is make it so that anywhere where there would be seam lines is just a panel line detail instead, to just cover that up, which works well enough. Okay, but so far, I mean, that long black piece, which could have been 2 halves sandwiched together, is just one solid piece, so that's good. So to build that section, then you need to put those to the side. Stand up there, make some space. Then we've got this, which is going to be ×2. Make sure I've got the right part there. Not that. Not that. Not that. Not that. This one and this one. And let's see. That goes in there. Okay, wow. The separation with the gold bits poking out amidst the black is very nice. Okay. And this just goes on here. here. So here is at least one instance of, before we were talking about that the G runner, which is the molded gold, not the plated gold. If there is going to be much of that that's going to be exposed, or if any exposed gold is just going to be all plated gold. Right here on the backpack, here's one instance of where that just molded gold is exposed here, that little bit right there. And it's kind of a shame in this case, I will admit, just because you have these two gold details poking out right there, one right there and one right here. That one's plated and this one is not. So that's, I will admit, that's a little bit disappointing. So they're going to have this part also sticking out right next to another detail. It's like the same style detail right next to each other. They should match. And so if they were going to have gold, the plated gold, which does definitely look nicer, it's definitely like brighter, this one should have been as well. So I'll admit that one should have been differently. Extreme. But now I can binge people like Dr. Aurelius and Mekakotsu and see just how much I missed, and eye up any potential kits I want to look for. At least, oh, Nalto, did you? I missed what was earlier in that chat. Maybe you stopped doing Gunpla for a while and then came back. MGEX is Master Grade Extreme. I think it's got a lot of tech from the Perfect Grade Unleashed. Oh yeah, this kit especially. This is like, it's the Perfect Grade Unleashed in Master Grade form. Basically everything that Bandai did, which made the Perfect Grade Unleashed special, the use of photo etch parts, the use of the layered metallic parts for the inner frame, the use of the 3D metallic stickers, just like the amount of, just the general amount of detail is not something that's quite unique, but it's just, they are very, just the fact that they're very detailed. All of that about the Perfect Grade Unleashed is now in this kit as well. So yeah, there's definitely, I mean, it's definitely easy to draw similarities between the two. That's for sure. Okay, so meant to build two of those. So there's one, put the other one here, go there as well. Then we've got one set of wings minus the runes, which that's what all these points are for. We go ahead and set those aside. Okay, that's there. This part is here. I think that's it, right? Yeah, I'm going to close that up. Oh, I forgot about this part. Okay. Cool. That's one set. So these, well, this folds in and out like that. That one does not. That folds in and out. It also expands out. The gold parts expand, and then also the black parts open up like that. So a lot of expanding of the wings out the back. Very nice. Really cool. And especially, I'm really, really glad that they used this color gold for the color that's going to be, because on the wings, once the Dragoons are on there, a lot of this will be covered up, but once the Dragoons are off and there's a lot of gold exposed, I'm glad that this is the gold that's going to be exposed, because like I keep mentioning, this is my favorite color of gold, of our 4 different colors of gold that are here on the kit. So I think it looks really, really nice. All right, so now we build the other side, which is just like the same thing, just opposite. So easy enough. This in here like that. Let's see. MGEX probably took a lot of. You guys talking about like what Bandai's come out with for 2022? I think that, yeah, anytime Bandai does a big kit like this, you know that it's soaking up a lot of their production resources, definitely. Because this is essentially like, it's essentially the same as if Bandai were producing, like coming out with a perfect grade this year. So some people will think like, oh, I'm sad we didn't get a perfect grade this year. Well, from Bandai's point of view, we did. It's not a perfect grade kit under the label of perfect grade, but it's a big, complex, expensive kit. If you're thinking about it like in terms of, just the production of the kit and like what goes into the production of a kit, then I mean, you basically have a perfect grade's worth of production that needs to go into a kit like this. So in a sense, Bandai did put out a big, expensive kit, not exactly a perfect grade, but you know, the equivalent of that this year. So I would say it's comparable. And like I said, just because this does utilizes a lot of the same stuff that they did for the Perfect Grade Unleashed, photo edge parts, waterside decals, you know, all this plating and everything like that. That also just kind of makes it even more so like a perfect grade, just in the amount of stuff that you have there. All right, now we can build the Dragoons ×8. That's another reason why earlier I was talking about my plans for this kit. Again, if and when I decide to paint it, I'm not promising right now that I am definitely going to paint it or not. I'm just saying that if I decide to paint it, one thing that I want to do is, one thing that I'm thinking to do is to not paint, or is to, the only customization that I want to do is maybe not painting the backpack, not including the backpack, just changing the backpack entirely. So one reason for that is that I don't really like the design of the backpack all that much. It's just kind of too much, it's too extra for my taste. But the other reason is that then I don't have to worry about painting all this. I mean, all these Dragoons and everything. It's a kit that already has a ton of parts, and then just also adding, you know, ×8 these Dragoon sections. I mean, that's just a lot of stuff to paint. And if I could just not, then that'd be better. Just again, with the goal being to keep it like a relatively short project. The goal being a project that I don't want to spend, you know, a ton of time on. And this part is also ×2. Okay, let's see. Before finishing the rest of the Dragoons, I'm just gonna stop here for a moment and take a second to just build these other parts, just so these other little parts are out of the way. I'd seen somebody also warned about this part of the construction as well in the wings, just to be careful with that. But again, I mean, I'll just warn you guys, you know, in general, it's a model kit, just be careful with it, whatever. Whether it's like a model kit like this, where there seems to be already, you know, somewhat of a known issue of it being a little weak or prone to breaking here or there. Just be careful. Did I put that in there upside down and backwards? I guess I figured that that didn't matter which way that went in there, and it did. Just as I'm right in the midst of saying how you don't need to worry about this or that, and then I'm doing something incorrectly. See? There is, in fact, a front and back to this part, which I assume there was not. This is probably how, I mean, I don't know. I saw somebody share a photo of this particular part of this kit that was broken. And I'm going to guess they probably did exactly what I just did and put the part together incorrectly. And then in the process of trying to take that apart to fix it, ended up breaking it. That would be my guess as to what happened, because after what just happened to me, I'm sure that could happen to somebody else as well. And I'm just going to assume that that's how that plugs onto there. Yep. Okay. Anyway, yeah, just careful. The end of the day, happens to the best of us. You're doing great. Thanks, Nalto. No, I'm not worried about it. Mistakes happen. You're putting stuff together. That's the thing. You can't worry too much about it. Even if something were to break, I mean, everything can be fixed. It's all just plastic at the end of the day. So you can't get too worked up about it, and you can't worry too much about it. That's the thing. When people ask about like what kind of kits they should start out with, or like what kind of kits are good for beginner, whatever. One of the things that people are worried about is if the complexity of the kit, if it's just too complex, they think that they'll maybe get started on it and they'll just be too confused by the instructions, and then have a hard time with the kit in that sense. Okay. Right. Can't seem to get this slotted in here. But I think the other thing that people tend to worry too much about is like if maybe somebody who's built a few kits, has that experience, has a decent amount of experience of building a number of models from Bandai. They know what to expect. So the complexity is not the issue, but they're worried about getting and building a kit like this because it's an expensive kit, and they're worried if they might break it or damage it if they build something incorrectly or something like that. That's the thing that you also need to not worry too much about, because anything that breaks you can fix. And I mean, ultimately, if you can't fix it, then fortunately then I didn't make just one. Always just buy another one. But if we're talking about really big expensive kits, then that's not exactly a good point, I guess, just saying, oh, you can just buy another one. When it's a kit like this, that's not exactly the case. I mean, it's true, but a little bit different from saying you can buy another of like a $20 high grade. Anyway, the point is that yes, you can fix it, and in the process of fixing the kit, you're learning how to do something. You're learning how to basically modify the kit, or you're learning a bit about kind of how to use those different set of skills, modification, customization type of skills that then you can use. You learned it through an unfortunate accident of breaking something, but then you can use that experience for when you want to break something on purpose, as in like modifying the kit later on. Now, if you're wondering what I'm doing with the part separator here, I'll show you. On this part here, between the two halves of the Dragoons, there's this gold piece. There's two gold pieces that are sandwiched in between. There's that one up there, and then one down here at the tip, which gives you this little bit of gold that's going to stick out the side like that. And then I guess like the tip, if you get down really deep in there, there's a tiny little bit of gold down in there. But anyway, it's this part up here at the top. And when the blue parts are pressed together all the way, number one, there's no seam line just because they made this as just a panel line detail there, which is fine. I don't know. It's fine. Yeah, there's no seam anyway. But that gold part that fits into there, you'll notice it's not pushed in all the way. Now what I'm doing is going ahead and just pushing that out from the inside with the part separator so that that's pushed out. The gold part is pushed out into the blue part as much as it's supposed to be. But you kind of don't really have to do that, and Bandai made it in a way that was quite clever so that you don't need to do that. I'm just doing it out of an abundance of caution. But here, I'm struggling to get that part in there. I'll show you guys what I mean. How they made it. Get this one together here. Just a second. They made it so that when you slot it onto the backpack, it'll automatically expand out to fit into the blue part as it's supposed to. It's like you would think that, oh, if that gold part is not pressed out into the blue part all the way, that it's going to block you when you're trying to slide it up in, because basically it just kind of slides onto this track here on the gold part. But as you can see how that the top of that gold part is not flat, there's a little bit of like an indent right there, right where that's going together right there. What that will do is that when you go ahead and slide this into place where it's supposed to be, that will automatically push those gold parts out into where they're supposed to be here, pressing out on the inside. So anyway, it's quite clever on Bandai's part to make it in that way so that assembling the kit pushes the parts out to where they're supposed to be. I hope that makes sense. Hopefully I was able to show that to you guys clearly. It's quite cool though. Always nice to see things like that. It's just like it's a small thing, but it stood out to me. Now getting this actually onto the track, it's a little bit tricky. Maybe there's just a trick to it that I'm just not figuring out. I'm just kind of pressing it until it gets into where it's supposed to be. As you can see, keep missing. Can open that out. There we go. It should be pretty easy. I don't know. I think there's probably a trick to it that I'm just dumb. I can't figure it out, but just try it a couple times and you'll eventually get it. Okay. So there's our wings, and our backpack is done. Now, we're not going to actually put that on the kit yet, but there you go. Pretty cool. Indeed. I'm going to set that aside, and now back to the kit to put the armor on. Okay, so this stage of construction, like I said, I'm figuring should go relatively quickly. You just, all like the frame obviously is all built, and then we're just putting stuff onto the frame. So on the head, all right, we've got the faceplate. That just pops in right there. The sides, and it doesn't have you do any deconstruction for this, so it doesn't have you like take the kit apart again, although I do think that would be easier, but I guess you don't have to. Just got to get this part here on the side of the head into the right position. There you go. Ooh, very nice. The gold bits poking out there in the vents and in the Vulcans there in the head. Some really, really nice color separation going on here. This little bit here at the back of the head, which is going to be a movable flap there at the back, which is always nice. This part just fit over that, leaving some more of that gold frame exposed on the sides and the back of the head. Beautiful. This part going right here on the top. The mohawk. The main V-fin. The white V-fin. It's actually, yeah, white, not off-white. And gold V-fin. And the red piece, which does have the molded detail in the red part there of having the Gundam's number. It's like it's gonna be really, really tiny. Oh damn. X. Let's see if I can read it without checking what it is. X0. X. I don't know. It looks like 06. A Venti. Is that right? Is it Venti something? That sounds like it's probably not right. But let's zoom in. I'll give you guys a look. There you go. The gold poking out everywhere on the sides and on the back of the head too. That little vent there on the back, that's super nice. Got the blue, the clear blue for the camera there. But the gold details on that, really, really nice. And yeah, gonna be, you guys aren't gonna have an easier time reading it, I don't think, but you can at least see that there is that molded detail of the Gundam's model number there on the front. I'm trying to catch the reflection. I can't seem to get it. Light reflecting off of everything except for the front of that red piece that I'm trying to catch there. But yeah, very cool, I gotta say. Yeah, seed unit names on the head are usually not in English. Yeah, it is. Oh, the model number is ZG-MFX20A. That's not what's on the front of there, I don't think. Maybe it says, okay, it says X20A Venti is what it looks like. But there's definitely, the X20A is there. Okay. I don't know what else then. That's the second word's got to be Venti. That's what it looks like to me. Is that what it is? All right. Fair enough. Moving on. Torso armor. First, we have to move the head forward, the whole torso forward. Put these blue parts here on the side. I think this front skirt armor also needs to get a little bit out of the way. I'll put that into place. That looks right. Seems right. Pop that into place. Looks right. Then bend that back. And put these bits here on the sides, which are symmetrical, it seems. So don't need to worry about the left side, right side being different. I think they're the same. Just pops there onto the side. And yeah, again, just want to highlight this again for you guys. For if you missed it earlier in the stream, I was talking about all the detail inside. This is the side panel. I'm trying to block the light so you guys can catch the. See all that detail inside this armor piece that goes on the side of the body? Get that so that you guys can see that well. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. There we go. Again, it's all stuff that's on the inside of armor pieces, so you're probably never ever going to see it unless you intentionally display the kit in a way to show that off in some way. And I'm not even exactly sure how you would go about doing that, but if you want to figure out a way to display it to show off that detail on the inside of your armor pieces, it's going to look really cool, but it's not going to be probably too easy to figure out how to do that. Let's see. Okay. This piece fits around the bottom of that part right there. It's just so sexy. Yes, indeed. Why doesn't USA Gundam Store have these in stock yet? Not mad, just hyped and want my hands on one now. Well, if LP Soldier over there on Twitch asking about that. Hang on just a second, guys. I'm going to meet you. I have a phone call. Hello? 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 We'll see if they call back. What was I saying? No idea. Oh, yes. About if you guys pre-ordered the kit from USA Gundam Store, I know we're getting this kit in not all at once. So when you actually get yours just kind of depends on the order of when you pre-ordered. If you pre-ordered early, then you'll get yours earlier than others. But I know that we have the first batch of them coming in soon. I heard that it's hopefully going to be this week, but yeah, we get them in as soon as Bandai gets them to us. So yep, the first batch should be here soon, and then basically another batch. What was that? Something popped. It was either good or bad, but seems like it was good. And then another batch of them. Well, I want to say like a month apart, a month later, and then another batch a month later, but I don't know if that's exactly how they're going to come. That's kind of how they were ordered and how we're expecting it, but not sure. Like I said, it's just we get them as quickly as Bandai sends them. So, all right. It is a very handsome looking kit, though, I will say. So far, let's continue. Arms. Next. Good amount of armor there. So first off, okay. This flap down, which it already is down, so okay. That's down, and that piece goes onto there. Okay. Down here on the forearm, we've got this little piece right here on the front. And this guy around here on the back. Should just be doing both arms at the same time. It'd be faster, I guess, but then we need to rotate this part so that it's out of the way, I guess, so that we can put on these panels here on the side of the arm. I think I'm doing that correctly. There we go. It's getting more buff by the moment. Rotate that back around. This one here. This side. And then I guess it's probably better that I do it this way, because then I'll skip to the leg. We'll do one arm and one leg, so that way you can see how it looks like armor on, armor off. Just like that. Okay. This part we're gonna expand out so that it's out of the way. We can put this piece here on like the side of the gauntlet, I guess. Yeah. Let's see. Onto there. And this part here on the front. And then after that, we close that back up, or no? I guess not. Didn't say. But well, that part fits on there. Okay, not yet. Black part on there, and then this part on red part on here, and then we can close that back up for the gauntlet to be looking like so. When did we put the armor pieces on the upper arm? That was the very first thing we were supposed to do, and somehow I missed that. Okay, that's why that part was folding. I was wondering about that. Okay, that part's up. This part's out of the way. That part's up out of the way. Then we can put these parts on the upper arm. See, I missed that section. You guys are supposed to tell me that I missed something. All right, now we're back on track. And that means we just have left the shoulder armor. It's pretty straightforward here. One on the front, one on the back, one on the top, one on the top, like that. The clear red piece on the top, which is still strange in my opinion. What do you guys think about the clear red on the top of the shoulder? It's very Pat Labor to me. Seems a bit strange. That said, seeing it in person, it looks a lot better in person than it did in the photos, to be honest. Let's see if I can attempt to show this to you guys. It's gonna be a little bit more difficult. Here on the top of the shoulder, that clear red piece, in the photos, it didn't seem like you could really see the gold detail underneath there all that well, but seeing it now in person, you really can. You can see the gold detail under there quite well, and it looks pretty good. I gotta say, it's still a bit weird because it still feels like very Pat Labor, but it's pretty cool. Video Dump asking, is the chest parts, are they black or midnight blue? They're definitely not black. They're definitely midnight blue. I think it depends on the lighting. In like bright lighting, you can see that it's definitely midnight blue, but in less bright lighting, it would look black. Yeah, it just kind of depends on the lighting. It's very dark though. It's almost black. It's a very, very dark blue. Okay. Let's do a leg as well before we come back to the other arm, so you guys can see kind of armor on, armor off, leg and arm. We gotta do the skirt as well too. Okay. Leg. Oh, so we are gonna have to take the foot off to do the leg. Okay. There is going to be a little bit of disassembly you're going to have to do, I guess. So lift the skirt up and put this panel here on the front of the thigh. Right there. And is that right? It is right. Okay. These panels here, the left and right side. Very nice. Didn't make the Patlabor connection until you mentioned it. Yeah. No, any like clear red on the top of the shoulder is just going to be very Patlabor. I'm going to lift those up. And got this little guy. Goes in down here at the bottom. Yeah, I don't know. Bailey, now I'm still thinking about which direction I might want to go as far as coloring the inner frame. Just not sure. Oops. That's kind of weird. This part's quite loose, and to the point that I don't know. I don't trust it. This on the vents on the back of the leg, these armor pieces that fit over the top of them, the middle one, yeah, it like doesn't. It's like meant to just kind of pop into place there, but it's not doing it how it's supposed to. Oh, there we go. I think maybe I got it. But it's still like feels like if I look at it the wrong way, it's gonna just come off. I guess that's right, but it's still kind of weird. I don't know. I don't like it, but I guess that's right for now. I just need to shift the ankle to one side, pop that on, shift the ankle back the other way, and pop the other side on. 1, 2, shift that back. Ooh. And this one goes here on the front. Like that. It's definitely getting some bulk around the legs, which I like. I like that. I can definitely say that's looking good. This part's going right here. The black around the top of the knee is also very cool, with some very nice radiator detail there at the top of the lower leg as well. It would be cool if the red clears lit up like police sirens. Yeah, if it had some, you had some LEDs going on in there to light up the clear red parts. There's also a clear red part right on the front of the crotch there as well that we'll get to in a minute when we get to the waist armor. Let's see. It goes on there like that. Quite a lot of that frame exposed here around the base of the knee. Yeah, indeed. Oh, yeah, and I'm also missing the because I didn't put on the photo etch parts on there yet. So there's like it looks like a bit more of a gap than it would be right here, like at the base, back of the knee. There's supposed to be a photo etch part there as well, and in this vent right here on the front of the knee. So because I haven't put those photo etch parts on there yet, it looks kind of a bit emptier, I guess. It's still having the photo etch parts on there is not going to change that much, but it will look a little bit more filled out than it does at the moment once those are on there. Yeah, a lot of parts here. It's going to be quite the kit to prepare for painting. And just the actual painting itself, I guess. Not just the preparation for painting, but the actual painting. Yeah, it's going to be not a quick one by any means. But yeah, man, some Very fantastic detail all around, and it looks really, really good. Oh, so we arm up the legs, and then it comes back to the feet later, but because I'm just doing this one here first, I'm just going to skip ahead so we can finish up this foot here. We got this part that's right there on the top. This part fits around here at the back. And these blue parts here on the side. And when it's having us take off the ankle armor. Okay. Goes there. And that's all for the foot, minus this piece right here on the front. I like the foot design as well. Very nice design of the foot. It's very kind of smaller, which, you know, that's just a subjective opinion about the foot design on Gundams, but I like when they have like kind of a little bit smaller feet. I'm also a big fan of the high heels on different Gundams and mobile suit designs. Now people have different opinions about that, but I like them. A lot of people don't. Yeah, this it's got a little bit kind of smaller feet on there, which I think really suit this design really nicely. Go ahead and pop that back into there. Just nice shape. A little bit wide and kind of short, but nice design there. Really nice looking once that's armored up. Whee! Gotta say, that's good. All this, the shapes and details, everything, that's very sharp looking. Reminds me a lot of the metal build. Reminds me a lot of the metal build. So before we put on the other armor on the arm and the leg, I'm gonna skip back again and do the waist first. We do also have the rail guns to do as well. Okay, so for this, let's see, got this part right there, that clear red part on the top, and say what? These guys right here are, what's the Uber asking? Uber Zaku, are the asymmetrical on this one? No. Not exactly sure how to interpret that question. I think you're asking, is there anything like asymmetrical on it? In which case, no, there's not anything asymmetrical on it, except for the rifles are slightly different because they fit together. The rifles are slightly different. Other than that, I mean, everything's symmetrical. Even the shields. The shield is something that would typically be asymmetrical because you only have one. It only goes on one side. But this one has the beam shields that go on both sides. So got that going for it. I was expecting there was going to be another piece that goes on the bottom of the front of the crotch, but actually there's not. There's just this piece which fits on the back, like that. And then these, let's see, these parts go on here first. Pretty cool how the skirt armor also kind of expands, it kind of flares out. Sort of similar like the unicorn in a way. The skirt armor on this one can also be like that. So like putting this on even, you have to do that. Expand that out. The front and the back skirt armor, I should say. The back skirt armor expands out, closes up. And you have to do that actually to put this armor piece on. With that, and the front skirt armor as well opens up. Ooh, check that out. Zoom! that front skirt opens up like that, and it's not just one solid motion, opens the whole thing. So that's really nice. So you don't have to move like multiple pieces. You just pop that open, easy, open, close. That's really nice. Right here in the back, it's just one part that moves out like that. It's simple, but also looks good. Cool. Hey, Zaku, any new contests coming up? Lama asked. Well, we have the current contest ongoing, the Apex contest. And then once that is done, the next contest will most likely be a Advance of Zeta themed contest. Just heads up. I already kind of posted about that, so it's not like it's any secret or anything. But just something to start thinking about if you would like to enter in that contest. I wouldn't start working on your project yet because, as it typically goes with the contest, we want you guys to start something new at the time. So I would say if you are an Advanced Zeta fan and you're wanting to enter in that Advanced Zeta themed contest, I would say just start planning your build. So that way, once it is officially started, you can, get off to the races straight away. So you guys actually, I normally like to keep it a secret until the big reveal, but actually in this case, giving you guys a bit of a head start, at least a heads up as to what the contest next one is going to be. So hopefully you guys take advantage of that. I know there's a lot of Advanced Zeta fans out there, so hopefully you guys are excited for that. And that's just because this year is the year of the rabbit. And with Advanced Zeta having all the Watership Down, what would you call that? Source? The source of a lot of the material for Advanced Zeta, at least like the imagery of the logos and the names of the mobile suits and stuff, is all based on Watership Down. We've got rabbits, so it's got the rabbit theme. This year is the year of the rabbit, so it all makes sense, right? But yeah, that's what's going on with the contest. That dual action, so good. Yes. All right. We are in the home stretch now. Very impressive kit, I'll tell you guys. Very impressive. I can get this onto here. Oh, step backwards. Wondering why is this not fitting onto here properly? So I'm putting it on upside down. That would be the reason. All right. Oops. All right. Woo. A lot of fans, but not enough Advanced Zeta kits available. That's true, but I mean, there's enough of non-P Bandai stuff. I mean, you have the Hazel Custom, the Hazel 2, the Advanced Hazel, the Karu, Gaplant, the Psycho Gundam itself, not necessarily Advanced Zeta, but I mean, obviously parts of that used for different versions of the Hazel and other full suits from there. So let's see, am I missing anything? Yeah, it's not a terribly long list. I feel like I'm missing something else though. But what I'm thinking it's going to be is that, and this is not decided for sure yet, but I may ask you guys later, maybe ask your opinion on this and you guys can weigh in or something. But I'm thinking that it may not be that it's solely just Advance of Zeta mobile suits, but just that Advance of Zeta is just the theme for it. So like if you wanted to just make any particular mobile suit and then just make it in the style of Advance of Zeta. So you could just take this kit and just paint it in like the style of Advance of Zeta, and then that could be your entry. I'm thinking that that's the way I'll go with it, and that part of the reason is because of like what you're saying, how a lot of the Advance of Zeta kits are premium Bandai. So yes, I understand that, and because of that, I think that's probably what we'll do. Yeah, this piece here on the back of the leg is kind of weird. Don't like the connection that it has. It's too small a connection. Anyway, well enough. Ew, Zach, what's your favorite seat design? Mine is the Raider. Mine's definitely not the Raider. I'm not sure what it would be, to be honest. I think I should have put this piece on here first. Oops. I think the part separator is going to be coming in handy again to get this piece on there where my fingers won't reach. Ooh. Favorite seat design, though, I'm not sure. There's definitely some really cool ones. It wasn't too bad. Okay. I mean, the Buster is really cool. This is really cool. Aegis is not one of my favorites, I will say that. It's also a quite cool design. It's only when I look at the Aegis kind of in detail, because of its transformation, there's kind of like some weird aspects of the design, and it's for the transformation, I understand, but it makes it kind of a bit weird in certain areas, like around the hips and stuff like that. So probably not that one. It's definitely my least favorite, I can say, out of like the main Gundams of the series. All right, I think that's everything on there. Okay. Whew. Let's see. Hummingbird is Sentinel, yes. Right, Hummingbird is unfortunately Sentinel. But what you could do if you wanted to make a Hummingbird, make it and just make like an Advance of Zeta version of that. Wouldn't be too difficult. I mean, I can understand the confusion as to which series that's from, because it certainly looks like it could be something out of Advance of Zeta, sure. So I think it wouldn't be too difficult to make a Hummingbird that looks like that is in the style of Advance of Zeta. But yeah, the problem would be just making making Hummingbird in the first place, unless you wanted to use like there's the G frame. I believe there's a G frame Hummingbird. Is there not? Isn't there? I believe so. Actually, no, I'm not sure. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I know there's a Converge Hummingbird. They have that, and I believe there's also an what is it, like a MS Ensemble, I believe, of the Hummingbird. But now that I'm saying it, I'm not sure. Is there a G-frame Hummingbird or no? I will say that this does have the same issue that I had with the Freedom 2.0, is that because the hips are so nicely articulated and that there's so many points of articulation in the hips, it's difficult to get the hips so that they're symmetrical to get a good like solid like power stance, just like standing pose, because it's hard to get the balance just quite right. When you have it up on an action base, it doesn't matter because the legs can be going which way. It doesn't matter if they're flat, but in order to get like a good solid flat stance, like everything needs to be like perfectly symmetrical, and it's quite difficult to do when you have so many different points of articulation, like in the hip section, like in the hips all the way down to the ankles. Everything needs to be like lined up, and it's kind of hard to get it to do it. So it's going to take some messing around to get it to get a good solid stance there, but it's looking very nice. Let's give you guys here's the armored up. Yeah, got some very nice bulk to it down there in the legs especially. So yeah, it's very reminiscent of the metal build, I guess there, and it's probably just because of all the detail and all the gold and everything. It just reminds me a lot of the metal build. Yeah, it's quite bulky, chunky, very cool. And so like I was saying, that I think what I want to do with this probably is change the backpack in some way, at least. Basically just omitting this huge backpack that it has. So it'll be more so like this will be more closely to just the overall silhouette of the Gundam. It'll have something else going on in the back. I'm not exactly sure what yet, but something to think about because it's very chunky. I think like probably once you have it posed up on an action base, whatever, and it's like up in the air, it won't look quite as chunky because you can lay the feet out more, and then that kind of adds a little bit more kind of length visually to the leg rather than if you have it standing. Just kind of goes to there and then just stops at the foot like that. You can see the difference between this one, just like looks longer just because the toes are stretched out. So it's going to be something to think about. Let's go ahead and get those. Oh, the side skirts will also help quite a bit. I think just the overall proportions. That's why it's looking a bit weird, because there's a big kind of gap. It looks like very narrow, kind of going all the way down to these big chunky thighs, but there'll be a bit of bulk added around the waist section here once we get the side skirts on. It was going to be the last section of the build here. Well, second last, before the weapons. The weapons, again, pretty straightforward. Reminds me of Uberzaku said, reminds me of the high-res God Gundam. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, again, it's similar like I was saying before, but if this had been just a Master Grade 2.0 or a high-res even, would it have been much different? Now, if it was a high-res, obviously one difference that would have been the inclusion of the metal frame, or at least the die-cast parts in a pre-assembled frame, which is a staple of the high-res line. Which obviously, if it's a MG 2.0 or an MGEX, it won't have that, but a high-res would. But just like visually how it looks, I think, yeah, if this would have been a high-res kit, it would be looking very similar to how it looks as it is. So is it worth the price tag, though? Patrick asked. I would say yes. It's an awesome kit, so it's definitely worth it. I think a lot of what you're paying for, though, is the plated parts. So if you're getting the kit with the intention of of stripping the gold plating and then repainting it yourself, then that's a lot of money that you're paying for a part of the kit that you're ultimately not going to use, as in the plating. So like if they release this kit without any plating, so what's the price of the kit? It's like 179, I think, right? Let's go and check. MGEX, MGEX. Strike Freedom. Yeah, 179. So, yeah, if it didn't have any plating on the gold and it was all just molded gold, I imagine it would probably be closer to like 125, around there. You're probably paying a good like $40-50 just for the plating. I don't know. It's only 4 runners, so I don't know. But you're paying a lot for that plated gold. If you're not planning on utilizing that plated gold, it does feel like kind of more money that kind of just goes to waste because of that. So I don't know. That's something that's to take into consideration, I suppose. But is it an awesome kit? Yes, absolutely. If it's worth it, I mean, I can't answer that for you. That's something that's completely subjective. So it's if it's worth it to you or not. How much is a kit like this worth to you? Would I have bought this kit if I was buying it just out of pocket myself, if I wasn't doing this like for a job? Would I have bought this kit? Probably not, just because the Freedom Gundam's not a design that I typically really like that much. It's not one of my favorite designs, and so that coupled with the price tag probably would have made me not buy this kit. But honestly, I mean, I would have missed out. I'm really glad that I am in the opportunity. I really glad that I am in the position that I am, so that I was able to build this kit that I otherwise probably wouldn't have bothered with, just because I don't really like the base design all that much. But because I'm fortunate enough to be in my position, I got the chance to build it, and I can say that now that I've built it, it's a really, really awesome kit. Does that make sense? So I would have slept on it, and that would have been a mistake, I guess. So that should, I guess, at least tell you something to help in your decision-making process of whether you think you want to buy it or whether you think it's worth it for you or not. I would say it's worth it. If you just if you don't mind the price, I mean, obviously it's a big price, so even if you're fairly well off person, I mean, it's a hefty price to pay for a kit, no doubt. But if you don't mind it and you're just looking for a good kit and a good building experience, you'll get it. So I think that should hopefully help you out. I'm glad you bought it too. I got to enjoy the whole build for free. Well, yeah, see, there you go. And and if you're not sure if it's for you, that's the great thing of why we do what we do, is to hopefully make that easier for you guys to decide. And if you watch the reviews and you decide maybe it's not, or you don't think that it's for you, or you don't want to spend the money on it, then the review was helpful and served its purpose. And at the very least, you got to enjoy the kit. What's it called? Vicariously? Is that right? Through someone else. That's kind of like what I do with watching Pokemon card videos. And I should say that's basically just Leonhardt. It's the one channel that I don't watch like a bunch of different channels or anything like that. Like Pokemon card opening videos is not something that I watch a whole lot of on YouTube, but if and when I do, I watch Leonhardt's channel. And okay. Yeah, and that's kind of one of the nice reasons of, at least for me, to watch a channel like that is that, you know, I don't want to go out and spend my own money on Pokemon cards, but I can enjoy, you know, that feeling of excitement opening Pokemon cards and whatever, just by watching somebody else doing it is enough for me for something like that. And so, you know, if it's kind of a similar situation for any of you with Gundam model kits, you know, I totally understand that. All right. Isaac, how's the build thus far? Simon's wondering. Is very nice. Now I was pausing here for a second because inside the camera on the side of here, you had to put this little gray piece in, which is just like a little detail piece. And I wasn't sure if I want to put that in if there was not a good way to get it out later, but there is. The way that this part fits into here, there's no hole in the back to be able to push that part back out, but you could easily drill a hole here to push that out. And the way that this fits in here, it's going to be covered anyway, so it's not going to matter if there's a hole in the back of it or not. Nobody's ever going to see that once this is put back together, so that's all good and well. Now, as for the clear part, I am going to leave the clear part out for the time being, just because that part is not going to come out without damaging that dark gray part inside there. You have to drill through that dark gray part. I guess you could still push it out through there. So maybe I will just go ahead and put that in there. You would still be able to get that. Then my worry is if this clear part is going to fall out while I'm doing the review. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's a firm fit inside there. We'll find out. Fingers crossed these parts don't get lost. Didn't mean for that to rhyme, but I guess it was just that time. Opinion on the Kyokai Senki kits. Really cool kits. Not watched the show at all. Not my favorite kits ever, but they're cool. If you've never built any, I would highly recommend at least checking out one of them, because they're quite interesting, unique. Yeah, pretty cool kits. I would just, if you're just wanting to try one out, I would get one of the high grades, because the full mechanics line, from what I've seen, I built one, and I think there's only two, right? I think there's only the two of them. But it really doesn't offer all that much more than what you get with the high grade kit. I feel like it's just kind of bigger. I feel like if you just stuck with one of the high grade kits, like, you'd be all right. Now, fingers crossed, these clear parts stay in there well and don't come out. Yeah, that definitely adds a little bit to the bulk, but it also adds quite a lot of, like, a very lengthy skirt that he has on. So I don't know. Okay, beam rifles. And yeah, like I said, the left and right side beam rifles are different, but at least the first part of the construction it has is doing ×2. So we can do that here. I don't know about you guys, but I'm glad that we're almost done because I'm getting hungry. It's 1:15, and we are at the start of hour 3 of this live build, so I'm ready to have some lunch. All right, but first, we got to finish this guy up. We're almost there. Oops, that's wrong. That was supposed to go over the top of there first. And then put that on there. Times 2. That. And that. Sorry if you already talked about this, but how do you feel about the clear red crotch piece? LP Soldier, I didn't really talk about that. I talked about the shoulders, reminding me of like Pat Labor, but on the actual kit, now having it here in hand, it looks pretty cool because of how nicely you can see the gold underneath. It wasn't, looking at the promo images, the gold underneath the red was not that visible, but in hand it is. On the crotch, it's the same thing, except that the red is like on the shoulders. The red is like right on top of the gold, but in the crotch part, the gold is down here and the red is like up here. So there's more of a gap between them, and it looks a bit more strange. Yeah, I will admit. Ultimately, I'll probably end up painting that just as a solid color, I think. But yeah, it's an odd choice for sure. I don't really get why they do that. I mean, I guess just to kind of another way to show off some more of the gold inner frame, I guess. So fair enough. But yeah, it's a little bit strange. And it's just going to be a personal taste thing. Some people will like it, some people won't. As for these clear pieces for the beam rifle, these are not going to come out easily once they're in place. So I'm not going to put those on for right now. I'm going to leave those out of the beam rifles. I hate to do it, but yeah. Are the handles the same? F24. F24 there, okay. That's there. That's there. Okay. Got it. Okay. By the way, anybody bought from New Type Gundam? Are they good, or should I skip the company? I'll let you guys answer that. It's hard for me to answer. The kit is undergated, so no need for cleanup. Yeah, pretty much everything is undergated on here. Not 100%, but pretty much everything. As much as I love the Strike Freedom's dual rifle, big rifle, it's too flashy for me along with the Justices. Yeah, it's a bit much for me as well. I don't really like the rifle designs on this. That's definitely something that I'll be changing. Again, if and when do the painting. I feel like I'm talking about it and thinking about it so much. I'm just gonna basically force myself to paint this kit just because of how much I keep thinking about it and talking about it, but that's not a bad thing. Except for the fact that I can't find this piece. Oh, it's red, that's why. It's right in my face, it's a red piece, that's why. Okay, so I think that one is done. Then we just have this little guy here. That. Oh, and I forgot to put these parts on the side skirts. Align with the grooves. This is bulking out the side of this even more. Adding the beam saber handles onto here. And last but not least, I also forgot that part, didn't I? Oops. Ew, and that's not going to be easy to get on there. Let's see. Oh, shoot. All right. Well, let's see if I can get that off again. Carefully. This was like the last part to cut off the runner for me when I was cutting off all the parts and everything. I'll show you here. These little parts, which are like right here on the back of the side skirts right there. Like the last things to cut off because I couldn't find where they were. They're there, like the last bits on the runner. I'm looking through the manual, like, where do these parts go? They look like they went on the shoulder or something. I couldn't find it. Ultimately found that, aha, they're there on the side skirts. And now that I'm actually building the kit, I also missed those parts by not putting them on there when I was supposed to. While we're here, should we pop on the backpack or save that till the very end? I also appreciate that the beam saber handles are just one solid piece, no seam line, and normally kind of what it also might be is that for the beam sabers, like this would be like 2/3 of it is like one piece, and like the tip part is a separate piece, and that's fine, I guess. For painting, it's easier than having to mask, but it's also a very easy part to mask. Just wrap a piece of masking tape around it. It's super easy. So yeah, it's just, I like that it's just one piece. It's just less to worry about. All right, last bit here. Without paying too close attention to the instructions here on this last beam rifle, I have a feeling there's kind of no real way I could really mess it up, I guess, but that remains to be seen. It's just a couple of parts. That slides onto there. A little clip here, a little clip there. I forgot that you can make these as the side skirts. Right? They kind of fit into place. Let's leave those off for the moment. I guess we would normally plug onto the side, yeah, right? But I'm gonna leave the beam rifles off for now and put the backpack on, and we will call it a day. A very beautiful day What a nice kid. You'll love to see it. Let me zoom out a little bit. Adjust my camera angle. Hang on. Adjust the focus for you guys. There we have it. Very, very nice indeed. Beautiful. Zaku-chan. You know that, are you calling me Zaku-chan like as a joke? You know that chan is the incorrect word to use, or are you just, or do you not know that and you're using that incorrectly? I feel like it could go either way. If you're doing it on purpose as a joke, that's fine. I don't care. But if you're not doing it on purpose and you don't know that chan is for girls, it would be kun for boys. It would be Zaku-kun. That's what you would want to use, but I don't care if you call me Zaku-chan. That's fine. That curry gold doesn't look good, Chromie said. You really only, I mean, you can see it in the elbow joints. You can see it in the hands, most obviously. That'd be kind of definitely the easiest place to see that. I mean, but yeah, there are bits and pieces, areas here and there where you can see the molded gold. It would be, I mean, like I was saying earlier, I don't mind. I just call you Zaku-chan like a slice of life reference. That's fine. Yeah, it would be nice if anywhere where there's gold showing on the completed kit, it was the plated gold, and that the molded gold parts were limited to only in areas where it doesn't show. That would have been ideal. Yes, I agree. But at the end of the day, it still looks pretty amazing. I don't think that molded gold detracts from the look at all. It's just like saying it's a 95 on like a scale of 1 to 100. It's a 95 and it could have been a 98 is, you know, negligible. Either way, it's a really awesome kit. I don't think the gold, I think the molded gold takes it from being a 98 down to being like a 88 or 78 or anything like that. It wouldn't, for me, it wouldn't be a deal breaker. If it is for you guys, I mean, you know, that's your call. But for me, the molded gold, yeah, I mean, could have been different, could have been better, but it's not a deal breaker. It's an awesome kit. Beautiful, fantastic. I'm going to work on the review. I'm going to eat some lunch first, though, because I'm very hungry, and then I'll work on the review, and I will see you guys very soon. Got some other stuff to work on as well for you guys. But beautiful kit. Is it worth the price? Again, it's up to you guys, but I would say it's definitely a really, really nice kit. Is it perfect? What kit is perfect? Every kit's going to have something to complain about. Something that could have been a little different, or could have been this, or could have been that. One of the things that I think should have been included with this kit is some sort of effect parts to hold up the Dragoons. That's probably the thing that I would complain about most about this kit, is that, because otherwise the kit itself, fantastic. Without having messed around with it too much, I mean, I can tell that the articulation, everything is great. The details, obviously, amazing. But if there's anything that I feel like is missing from the box that I would have liked to have been included in there, is at least some basic effect parts. I understand Bandai's probably wanting to do those as a P Bandai set, but at least with this, include like the basic, just like clear arms to just display the funnels, and then make a P Bandai set that's like kind of much better looking, that are like in clear blue or whatever, and kind of more dynamic in their shape and design. Just make like a much better version as the P Bandai version. I think would have been, if I was in charge at Bandai and I was a nice person, that's what I would have done. But obviously, whoever's in charge of making those decisions is making business decisions, not you know, completely based on just what we would like as modelers. You know, they have to make business decisions too, so gotta make that money. Anyway, guys, that's it for the review. Bandai, congratulations, another great kit. I will work on the review for you guys and have it out as soon as possible. Appreciate you all for hanging out. See you around. Bye.